Your networks are compromised. The woman standing at the Fort Carson checkpoint spoke quietly, but her words hit the security team like a thunderbolt. She wore a faded olive jacket that looked like military surplus, carried no weapons, no credentials, nothing that would mark her as anyone important. The guard were about to escort her away when she slowly unzipped her jacket, revealing a patch sewn on the inside, a silver wolf surrounded by lightning bolts. Echo Battalion. Silent thunder. The duty sergeant's radio crackled to life. Sir, we're detecting massive security breaches across all classified channels. The woman didn't smile. She'd been trying to warn them for 3 days. Now it might be too late. Welcome to True Stories Zone. Before we dive into this incredible story of forgotten heroes, hidden identities, and a moment when the past refuses to stay buried, tell me in the comments where you're watching from today. And if you believe stories like this deserve to be told, hit that subscribe button. Fort Carson, Colorado, stood as one of the Army's premier training and communication facilities. The Communications Intelligence Center housed some of the military's most sensitive electronic warfare equipment, protected by layers of security that kept unauthorized personnel far from classified operations. Captain Lisa Williams, 45 years old, stood at the main entrance checkpoint wearing a faded olive drab jacket that had seen better days. She was small in stature, about 5 feet 4 inches, with auburn hair pulled back in a simple ponytail and green eyes that seemed to take in everything while revealing nothing. Her appearance was unremarkable, exactly the way she preferred it. The morning shift guards, Sergeant Martinez and Private First Class Johnson, had been expecting a routine day. Instead, they found themselves facing a woman whose very presence would challenge everything they thought they knew about military protocol and hidden histories. "Ma'am, this is a restricted military facility," Sergeant Martinez said, stepping forward with professional courtesy. "Do you have authorization to be here?" Lisa reached into her jacket pocket and produced a laminated card that looked older than some of the soldiers at the checkpoint. The edges were worn, the photo slightly faded, but the information was clear: Captain Lisa Williams, Signal Intelligence, Security Clearance Level 5. Private Johnson squinted at the card. "Ma'am, this ID expired 15 years ago, and the unit designation doesn't match any current Signal Corps organization." "That's because the unit doesn't exist anymore," Lisa replied quietly. "Officially, it never did." Sergeant Martinez studied the ID more carefully, his brow furrowing. "Ma'am, I'm going to need you to step aside while we verify this information." Johnson called the duty officer. A small crowd began to gather as other personnel noticed the unusual situation. Among them was Lieutenant Colonel Sarah Banks, the facility's deputy commander, who had been walking past when she noticed the commotion. "What's the situation here, Sergeant?" Colonel Banks asked, her tone crisp and authoritative. "Ma'am, this civilian is trying to enter with an expired military ID from a unit that doesn't exist in our database," Martinez explained. "She claims to be Captain Williams, but according to our records, there's no active duty officer by that name assigned to this facility." Banks examined the ID, her expression growing more puzzled. "The security clearance level is legitimate, but this unit designation, Echo Battalion, I've never heard of it." "That's because Echo Battalion was classified above your clearance level," Lisa said calmly. "We specialized in deep penetration signals intelligence during operations that couldn't be officially acknowledged." Several soldiers exchanged glances. The woman spoke with the quiet confidence of someone who understood military protocol intimately, but her claims seemed impossible to verify. "Ma'am," Colonel Banks said carefully, "if what you're saying is true, why is there no record of your service? And why are you here now?" "Because someone is using Echo Battalion's old communication protocols to infiltrate your secure networks," Lisa replied. "And if you don't let me help you stop them, every classified signal that passes through this facility will be compromised within the next 48 hours. The tension in the checkpoint area was palpable. Colonel Banks made a decision that would change everything. "Sergeant Martinez, escort Captain Williams to Conference Room B. I want to hear what she has to say." In the secure briefing room, Lisa sat across from Colonel Banks and the facility's communications officer, Major Pete Thompson. Her worn jacket seemed out of place in the sterile military environment, but her bearing remained calm and professional. Captain Williams, Banks began, you're claiming to represent a unit that has no official record. You're asking me to believe that someone with access to classified protocols is attempting to breach our security. I need proof. Lisa nodded and slowly began to remove her jacket. Underneath, she wore a simple black t-shirt that revealed well-toned arms marked by several small scars. But what drew everyone's attention was a patch sewn onto the inside of her jacket, a patch that made Major Thompson's eyes widen in recognition. The patch depicted a silver wolf's head surrounded by lightning bolts, with the text Echo Battalion, Silent Thunder embroidered below. The design was unlike anything in current military heraldry, but Thompson had seen references to it in classified historical documents. Jesus, Thompson whispered. That's a ghost unit patch. I thought those were just legends. Not legends, Lisa said quietly. Just classified so deeply that we became myths. Colonel Banks leaned forward. Major Thompson, what exactly is a ghost unit? Ma'am, during the 1990s and early 2000s, there were rumors of highly specialized intelligence units that operated outside normal command structures. They supposedly conducted signals intelligence missions in areas where official military presence couldn't be acknowledged. But there's no concrete proof they ever existed. Lisa reached into her jacket again and produced a small device that looked like a modified radio. This is an Echo Battalion field communicator. It uses frequency-hopping algorithms that haven't been implemented in standard military equipment. The protocols I developed for this unit are now being used to penetrate your secure communications. She activated the device, and immediately the facility's communication systems began registering unusual activity. Alert indicators flashed on Major Thompson's monitoring equipment. How is that possible? Banks demanded. Because 15 years ago, when Echo Battalion was disbanded, someone didn't properly secure our communication protocols, Lisa explained. They assumed that with the unit dissolved and all personnel reassigned or listed as casualties, the security threat was eliminated. But you weren't reassigned, Thompson realized. You were listed as killed in action. Operation Silent Thunder, March 15, 2008, Lisa confirmed. My entire team was compromised during a deep penetration mission in hostile territory. 7 soldiers died. I survived, but the mission was so classified that officially acknowledging my survival would have revealed operations that couldn't be exposed. Colonel Banks stood up and walked to the secure phone on the conference room wall. I need to verify this through channels that I suspect don't officially exist. While Banks made her calls, Lisa worked with Major Thompson to demonstrate how the compromised protocols were being used to infiltrate the facility's networks. Her knowledge of the systems was detailed and precise, showing understanding that could only come from someone who had helped design them. The infiltration started 3 weeks ago, Lisa explained, pointing to anomalies in the communication logs. Someone has been systematically accessing your encrypted channels, copying message traffic, and probably selling the intelligence to foreign buyers. Thompson frowned as he reviewed the data. But our security monitoring should have detected this kind of breach. Not if they're using Echo Battalion protocols, Lisa said. We were specifically trained to penetrate secure military networks without triggering standard detection systems. Whoever is doing this understands our methodology. Colonel Banks returned from her phone call, her expression grim but convinced. Captain Williams, I've just spoken with someone at the Pentagon who confirmed your identity and the existence of Echo Battalion. You're officially listed as missing in action, presumed dead, but your service record and security clearance have been maintained in case you ever resurfaced. I've been tracking the use of our old protocols for months, Lisa said. This facility is the primary target because of the sensitive traffic that passes through your communication hub. If the breach isn't stopped, classified information from operations across 3 continents will be compromised. Major Thompson looked up from his analysis. Ma'am, based on what Captain Williams has shown me, we have a serious security problem. The infiltration is more extensive than I initially realized. Banks made her decision. Captain Williams, I'm temporarily restoring your security clearance and asking for your assistance in resolving this breach. What do you need? Access to your main communication center and a team of technicians who can follow instructions without asking too many questions about where I learned these techniques, Lisa replied. Over the next 18 hours, Lisa worked with a carefully selected team to trace the source of the security breach. Her methods were unconventional, using techniques that weren't in any current manual, but her results were undeniable. She identified not only how the infiltration was being conducted, but who was responsible. Former Echo Battalion Communications Specialist Staff Sergeant Marcus Reed, who had been reported killed in the same operation that supposedly claimed Lisa's life. Reed survived the mission, just like I did, Lisa explained to the assembled security team. But instead of staying silent, he's been selling his knowledge to the highest bidder. The investigation revealed that Reed had been systematically targeting military communication facilities, using Echo Battalion protocols to steal classified information that he then sold to foreign intelligence services. His operation had been running for over a decade, generating millions in revenue while compromising national security. How do we stop him? Banks asked. We use his own methods against him, Lisa said. Echo Battalion was trained in psychological operations as well as signals intelligence. I can send him a message through the compromise channels that will make him think his operation has been discovered by people who want to eliminate him permanently. Lisa's psychological operation worked perfectly. Within 24 hours, Marcus Reed made contact, attempting to negotiate safe passage in exchange for information about his customers and methods. The communication was traced to his location, leading to his arrest by military police and FBI agents. The facility's security was restored, and the compromise protocols were permanently retired. Lisa had successfully completed her mission, but as always, her work would remain officially unacknowledged. Captain Williams, Colonel Banks said during the debriefing, the Army owes you a debt that can never be publicly recognized. Would you consider returning to active duty? Lisa shook her head. Echo Battalion taught me to work in the shadows. That's where I'm most effective. She put her worn jacket back on, the ghost unit patch once again hidden from view. Just remember that sometimes the people who protect you are the ones you'll never officially meet. As Lisa walked away from Fort Carson, she looked like any other civilian visiting the base. The guards who had initially questioned her now watched her leave with quiet respect, understanding that they had encountered something extraordinary. The official report of the security breach mentioned the assistance of classified personnel, but provided no details about Echo Battalion or Captain Williams' role in resolving the crisis. To most people, the incident would remain just another routine security matter. But among the communications specialists at Fort Carson, the story spread quietly. The legend of the ghost unit officer who appeared when needed most, solved problems that others couldn't understand, and disappeared back into the shadows where she belonged. Lisa Williams returned to her quiet life, carrying the memory of soldiers who had died in operations that would never be acknowledged. Her patch remained hidden, her service unrecognized, but her vigilance never ended. Because some protectors work best when they remain invisible, and some heroes are most effective when the world believes they don't exist. The Echo Battalion patch wasn't just a symbol of past service. It was a promise that some people never stop defending their country, even when their country can't acknowledge their sacrifice.